Welcome to Supply and Demand with Paul Breunich. I'm your host, Anna Berry, and today we're going to discuss some recent trends in real estate that will without a doubt impact your view of the market. Now, Paul, we have a lot to discuss, so let's get started.
Let's get started.
All right, so everyone wants to know, what is the market like today?
Anna, the market's heating up. I haven't been this optimistic since 2006. We went through a 4 or 5 year span that's been very difficult, but the indicators are coming around, they're pointing up, the future looks bright.
That's so good to hear. So let's start nationally. What can you tell us?
To understand where we are, we have to understand where we've been. And what I'd like to do is talk about the 4 phases of a real estate cycle historically. I'll first concentrate on phase 1, which is the peak phase. And to put it in perspective, that occurred from 1997 to 2005. In that phase, unit sales are increasing, prices are increasing, and inventory is decreasing. And from the supply-demand factor, a decrease in inventory is pushing the prices up. Phase 2 is the correction period, and that occurred from 2006 to 2008. That's when the market realizes, okay, something's wrong here. And in that case, sales start decreasing. Prices are still increasing because it's not caught up with the market yet, and inventory is increasing because people are buying less. Phase 3 is the trough period, and that occurred from 2008 to 2011. That's when we're at the bottom. In that phase, sales are decreasing, prices continue to decrease, and inventory is increasing. So supply is increasing and demand is decreasing. And that was from 2008 to 2011, which was the heart of the depression that we were going through. Phase 4 is the recovery period. That's when things start picking up and improving. And that happened from 2011 to 2012. In that phase, sales are increasing, prices are still decreasing because it's not caught up to the demand side yet, and inventory is decreasing, making the supply smaller, which puts upward pressure on prices. Now I believe we're back to a beginning of a peak phase. And so it's 2013, and we'll get into more detail as we talk through our interview, but it looks very promising for the future.
Great. A peak sounds good to me.
Peaks are good.
So what is the catalyst of all of these cycles?
Consumer confidence drives the real estate market along with every other retail side of the economy. Consumer confidence is an economic indicator which shows the optimism in the consumer to go out and purchase items. In this case, houses, condos, land.
So what drives consumer confidence?
Consumer confidence is a fickle indicator. What I'm going to concentrate on is the economic indicators that affect consumer confidence. The first one is GDP, or gross domestic product. This measures the economic output of the economy by quarter. It has been positive for 15 straight quarters going back to the third quarter of 2009. The next big factor is unemployment. Being unemployed or fearful of losing your job has a huge impact on consumer confidence. After hovering at 4% at the beginning of the decade, it spiked to 10% in 2009. Since then, it has steadily decreased, and in March of this year fell below 8% for the first time since January of 2009, another positive factor. Mortgage rates continue at historic lows and are a key factor in consumer confidence and home affordability. Low interest rates have been projected out to 2015. Finally, I want to discuss the Housing Affordability Index. This measures the financial ability of the consumer to buy a house. 100 on the index measures the median income family being able to obtain a mortgage and afford a median-priced home. Anything over 100 shows improved affordability. Anything under 100 reflects reduced affordability. As you can see, since 2008, the affordability index has increased dramatically. This has been a result of low mortgage rates, home prices decreasing, and the economy improving.
Okay, so what does that all mean for us locally?
Well, locally, the best way to address that is to look at what the numbers are and what's closed and what's pending. So I'll concentrate on our major markets locally on where we do business. Fairfield County closings year to date are up 21%. Pendings, which measure what's under contract and what's going to close, which is a good leading indicator, is up 81% for the past 60 days. Those numbers in a spring market are almost unprecedented. The shoreline of Connecticut, closings year to date are up 4%, and pendings are up 9%. I'd like to point out here that the shoreline was not hit as hard as Fairfield County in the down market, and they don't need to recover as much as Fairfield County does. They've been more on the level plane. Litchfield is up 3% in closings year to date, and their pendings are up 19% over the last 60 days. Westchester, closings year to date are up 11%, and pendings are up 18% for the past 60 days. In the Berkshires, closings are up 10%, and their pendings are up 25%. So as you can see, closings are all up in almost double digits, and pendings are way up, getting us into a very strong spring market.
Now, are there any wild cards globally that can affect the real estate market?
Yes, and as we become more of a global economy, that becomes more of an issue. The issues that can affect us globally are political uprisings, the global economy, terrorism, wars, natural disasters. One that I still want to concentrate on is the European issue with what is happening over there. Again, the financial markets are fickle, the financial markets affect the consumer, and we have to keep our eyes open to how that's going to affect us.
Well, yes, we do. So, Mr. Nostradamus, where are we headed? You seem to know.
Anna, I'm very optimistic about the future. With everything we just talked about, all systems are go, and I'm just not looking at a spring and fall market. I think this is going to continue into the foreseeable future.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Paul, as always, for breaking down the numbers and giving us a snapshot of market conditions. So for more information, including a regional market summary, visit your local Sotheby's International Realty website. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next Supply and Demand.